Bienvenidos a la Midwest Flyways podcast. I am your host, Joey Basayo. And I have my Kelness over here in the adjacent corner of me. And we also have Quabby Cowda.
Quabby Cowda.
The quabbiest of all the cowdas in the world.
In the world.
What do we? Hello, ladies.
Are you feeling crabby, Carter?
Ladies,
I am not.
Ladies and
You
gentlemen.
don't seem crabby tonight.
I'm never grabby.
He wasn't upheld by the cartel.
I wish I was.
He got out of there just in time.
Mm-hmm. You wish you were.
Yeah, I would have made some friends. I learned Spanish while I was down
His
there. I
first
could have
friends.
communicated. Would have been great.
You know who he is, dude? He's like he's like Bert Kreischer.
Don't like that guy.
Sure.
so?
Where he's like on the train, like his story, The Machine, and he becomes accidentally friends with the Russian mob.
That's a
and
fake story,
and they
right?
like him. I don't think so.
It's gotta be fake.
He's said it enough times. It's probably true now.
I don't know. That was his
That's
claim
not
to
how
fame.
That works.
Came out of nowhere.
Said it so many times.
He said it so many times, but like that's Carter. He'll be like going to the market, and they'll be like, "Hey," be like, "Hi." They're like, "I think you're funny. Come hang out with us." And then now he's just friends with the cartel.
Yeah.
That would be Carter, 100%.
That'd be sick.
Just gets put in El Mencho's will.
He just like doesn't understand where he's at, and then like a week later, he's like, "Can I go home?" They're like, "No, man." He's like,
No, you have to stay here now.
"Uh-oh.
Yeah, just looped in.
I thought this was legal here." Absolutely not. No, but no one's going to mess with us because you're with us. He's going to be like, "What have I done?"
Yeah, until a bunch of foreign agencies all collaborate together to come in and take you down.
The alphabets?
The alphabets?
Yeah, the alphabet
Basically
agencies.
is though, isn't it?
FBI, CIA, NSA,
Yeah.
DOJ.
NATO.
What's like, I was talking about all these construction companies today. And you just acronym after acronym after acronym.
Right.
I'm like, all right, enough with the alphabets.
Right.
Guys, just say complete, just say Cessna, whatever the company name is. Just use the first word of it.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, welcome to this week's podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Onyx. I was just at Pheasant Fest this last weekend in Minnesota. It was so much fun seeing everybody and seeing pretty much everyone who has ever worked at Onyx at that show because they're all huge pheasant hunters over there. They're an incredible company. If you don't know about Onyx already, you are insane. It is my favorite out of all the tracking apps and geological apps. I love it.
Close.
What's that?
And it's not close.
It's not even close. And what's even better is you can get 20% off your Onyx Elite membership, which is nationwide, or you can just do statewide. And our code is Flyways.
Nope.
No, MWF20.
Good try, though.
MWF20.
Good job.
And it's not just for hunting season. I've been using it a lot, looking for spots to shed hunt because the elevation thing, you can see exactly where the slopes are.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice with the 3D map, and it's awesome.
No, here's the real question. How many you found?
Oh, I've only been out 0 times, just planting spots, waiting till the snow melts.
Gotcha.
Nice.
I've actually been seeing a lot of people trespassing for sheds, like online.
What?
People are like, who is this trespasser? He's looking for sheds on my property.
Are you
it shows
serious?
like the trail cam of them on their property. I'm like, wow, are people really that buku for sheds that they're going to go trespass on people's land?
We went to, Carter's dad has like 3,000 of them.
He's found like over 20 this year already.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
He's trespassing?
No, that's all public land.
That's all public.
Carter just incriminates his dad on the podcast.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he actually is.
No, a lot of people do that out west because they can sell like the big game antlers for a lot more.
Sure. Oh, you're saying for like elk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those chandeliers, man. Those elk chandeliers.
All the antler chandeliers to me are sick.
Oh,
they're so cool.
Well, we got one at my cabin.
Right.
It's dope.
Right.
It's very dope.
I can't imagine what those cost. I'm sure you know.
Well, they made it.
Right. I know that. I'm saying like if you buy one though.
A lot.
I've seen an elk one for $20,000.
Shut up.
Yeah. Really expensive. Now, there were a lot of sheds on it. But like, Carter, look up the general.
$20,000?
Yeah. It was a very.
I'm sure there's some posted online. You could look
it was
it
a
up,
very
Carter.
intricate, it was a very cool chandelier
That is
of elk
nuts.
antlers.
Like a 3-tier?
It was huge.
Most of them that I'm finding that are like just general are about $4,000. This one is listed at 120,000.
Pull it up. Put it on the TV. Put it on the TV.
What is it?
While I'm doing that, we're just gonna hit a little.
Welcome.
Nice.
Bienvenidos. Someone asked me the other day, what does bienvenidos mean? And I said, Google. Made a 84-inch wide antlers, 16 light chandelier. So they're vertical and protruding outwards. It looks like a tree.
It's a good deal. It's $50K off.
Gee, I wonder why.
True. That's
No
a
one
hell of
wanted
a
to pay
discount, isn't
120
it?
grand for it. I mean,
or
imagine.
is it like those stores where they say that it's 40% off, but it's always 40% off?
Oh, you mean
Right.
Amazon?
Yeah. Or Justice.
Black Friday.
Remember that one, guys?
Justice? No.
No.
My wife used to work there. It's like the girls' clothing store.
Okay.
It's 40% off all the time.
So you thought this was their demo?
Just
As me
year
and
round.
Joey would know their sales?
Have you ever been to a mall? I mean, they're literally in every mall.
No.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not going into a store named Justice.
No, I've never been in. Well, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
That's
true.
1,000%
Been
not true.
in to see Annie, but never like,
Carter Cal's the kind of guy that will go to the mall around holiday season and look for clothes for his wife.
For sure.
And he knows all of her sizes too.
Yeah.
Don't you?
And he's
you
comparing
don't
the
know
stores.
what size your wife wears.
No idea.
Well, that's,
I have no clue. I mean, I have an idea for like sweatshirts and sweatpants and whatever because we're pretty similar.
So you can get your wife sweatshirts and sweatpants?
No, I'm saying that's the only size that I know.
You got to up your gift
My wife
game,
is
bro.
constantly pregnant,
You
so
might
I
have
don't
to
know her
up
bra
your-
size.
Might have to up your gift game, bro.
I don't know her bra size because she's constantly pregnant.
You know
know
her
what I mean?
pant size?
Oh, no. No, single digit. Like for pant sizes, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I barely know my pant size, dude. I
Yeah.
fluctuate
That
in weight.
depends if you're on carnivore diet.
Right.
So,
All the pants I have now fit me
right.
forever and always
Right.
now. It's crazy.
That's funny, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I do know my wife's sizes. I don't go to the mall.
Wow.
I
When was
don't-
the last time you went to the mall, Cal?
I mean, just to the mall, I probably go 4 times a year.
I mean, dead serious. I don't think I've been to the mall in at least 2 years.
Not counting Shields and St. Cloud, I don't think I've been to the mall in 10
If you
years.
count that, then I've been once this year. We went to Shields. and
I don't
St.
count
Cloud.
that. That's a different store. You don't go to the rest of the mall.
I didn't go in the rest of the mall.
No.
I legit don't think I've been in a mall in like 2 years plus.
You look like a mall rat.
You were.
How?
You were a mall rat.
How do I look like a mall rat?
You were a mall rat.
I worked in a mall.
Yeah.
That makes you a mall rat?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you didn't just go to work at the mall, did you?
Yeah, I did.
You hung out at the mall.
No, I did
Your
not.
Saturdays
no, I was
were
never at the mall
filled
unless
with
I
the
was
mall.
working.
You were part of that teen mob.
Mm-hmm. Sitting on the
Walking around.
fountain.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Jeering at people as they walk by.
Oh,
Yeah.
way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
I'm way older than that, Carter.
True.
Way older than that. You tell me that all the time.
True.
So
Very
you
true.
should know. Yeah, I did used to go to the mall with my friends when I was in like 7th grade. That was top tier.
Couldn't
Just
have
get
been
dropped
me.
off at the
No.
mall.
Hey,
Couldn't
You
have been me.
definitely have done that.
No, I haven't.
Oh yeah.
I tried it once.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. I was
And
gonna
it
say
was
I've
terrible.
been to the mall with you.
It was terrible.
nearest
Had
mall
fun,
for me
dude.
was
we,
Alexander.
Remember we were
You have
razzing all the
money?
people at Jamba Juice, giving them a hard time. Come on, Joey.
Yeah, I loved
Come
Jamba
on,
Juice.
Joey.
I loved Jamba
You
Juice.
loved Jamba Juice.
I loved it.
I don't know if I met anybody when we were younger that liked Jamba Juice more than you. That's why I had to bring it up. Joey would go there and like tell people you had $1 and just make them give them a drink.
Oh, at the counter?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was a barterer.
yeah. You tried to barter at Jamba Juice.
I did. And
That's
it worked.
the craziest thing ever. They're like, yeah, it's $2.85, and Joey's like, well, I've got $1.
Did it work?
No, it didn't work. You had to pay $2.85, and I'm pretty sure I probably had to spot you the $1.85.
He still does the same thing at the hospitals now. It hasn't changed.
Yeah,
True.
but that actually works.
Does work.
That actually works at the hospitals.
Yep. This is not legal
legal
This is not legal or medical advice,
No,
Right?
correct.
right? But if you tell them you do not have insurance, which
Allegedly.
allegedly, if you tell them that you do not have insurance, like I did not allegedly have insurance,
Over 7 years ago.
and you take a 3-minute ambulance ride, and they try to charge you $4,900,
Right.
and I go, well, I can't pay that.
Allegedly.
We already said it. This is all alleged.
All right. When does you have to say when the alleged stops, though.
Yeah. Okay. And they say, hey, you owe us $4,900. And I go, that's hilarious. That's 3 paychecks. And they're like, you owe us that. I was like, I don't have insurance. And they're like, okay. How does $1,800 sound? I go, whoa, that's a big drop in a matter of 2 minutes. Yep. I go, well, I can't pay that either. They go, well, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know. I guess you got to send it to collections. They're like, well, we don't want to hurt your credit. I was like, I don't care if it hurts my credit.
Hurt your credit.
I know. Medical does not hurt your credit.
Right. Yeah.
Hilarious. So I'm like, I don't care about my credit. They're like, what can you pay? I was like, about $200.
Yeah.
They're like, 900. And we go back and forth and settled at 400 something.
Dude.
And then I paid it 2 months later.
Right. Right. And you're like, at the end of all that, Joe's like, send me a bill.
Right. Allegedly.
They were like, we'll take the card right now. And he's like, no, not right now. It doesn't work.
Oh, no, you're going to hit zeros on that card.
Declined.
Allegedly. I was 18. Allegedly.
Declined.
I was allegedly 18. So that is not advice to do that.
Right.
That was many moons ago.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. Cal, you've been doing something really cool the last couple of podcasts to keep us on track here. And I love it. You've been coming up with some really good shit. So everybody who's listening to the podcast, give Cal some claps because he is coming up with some awesome stuff to talk about. And now you wrote this. You wrote these topics. So I want to ask you the first one because it's a really good one.
Okay.
Right? And I think you got it from that reel that we posted not too long ago. Correct?
I don't think so, but go ahead.
How do we change the duck hunting culture and community?
Yeah. That is a really good question.
Because I feel like it's pretty toxic right now.
Yeah, it's really toxic. I think to me, the number one thing that needs to change is we've got to have the generations of waterfowl hunters come together for a greater cause. I think one of the things that's...
Interlock your fingers when you do that. Is
that better?
Yeah. Go say it again.
No, I'm good. I think that one of the biggest issues that we legitimately have is there's nothing that's like putting us all together in the same group where we're working toward a common goal. And I think that that's really tough because we are all split up throughout the country and everybody has different conditions. Everybody has different situations. Like you and I were just talking about this earlier this year. Like we had a bad year in Minnesota for duck hunting. And I think I was telling you, like in the midst of all this, us having a terrible year, some people are having the best year of their lives.
Yeah.
Like I know that dudes in certain parts of the country had like a year that you can't imagine, like they couldn't have imagined they would ever even have a year like that.
And they didn't post a whole lot about it either.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. And so, every time when we're having a bad season, I'm trying to keep that perspective. They're like, yeah, we're having a bad season. Somebody else is having the best season of their lives. All of this is cyclical. But I think that we have a huge issue in the sense that even the conservation groups are split and divided. Like Ducks Unlimited, some people have a problem with Ducks Unlimited.
Right.
Delta Waterfowl. Some people have a problem with Delta Waterfowl.
Sure.
And those are like the two main ones that I'll bring up right now. But we don't have a common goal. Like we're not fighting the right enemy. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what the problem.
I think, in all reality, like the enemy probably is non-hunters that are trying to take away our rights and any government agencies that are trying to suppress our rights. Those are the two things that are probably affecting waterfowl hunters the most on a year-to-year basis. That's affecting the culture and the change over time. But we're not going after those topics. We're focused on fighting each other about who's shooting the most birds or who's giving out too much information or, whether or not corn being flooded is taking stuff away or, whether or not guys in Canada shouldn't be able to shoot 8 birds a day or like we're fighting each other. We're not fighting the bigger issue. And like the bigger issue obviously is we're not really managing our resource like we used to. Like we talked about this in the history lesson. Like you look at what we did with the money from the duck stamps when they first came out. You look at what we used to do to manage our wetlands and to manage all these refuges that we have around the country. And these are very poorly managed at this point. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Super poorly managed. We have money that's being taken away from waterfowl hunting. And we have a public viewpoint that's telling us that hunting is not a necessity anymore. And so less and less people are hunting. So we're just shrinking. Our entire group of our ecosystem is just shrinking continuously. And we're fighting each other constantly. What do you think? I'd love to hear your opinion on this.
I think the way that we change, well, the question was, how do we change the duck hunting culture and community? I was taught a long time ago that you don't tell people how well you did, right? And you don't give away like where you're hunting and whatever. I think there's a way to still satisfy that old school mentality, because like when you come into the boat ramp, like you hide your ducks on public land, you know, like for sure. But if someone in the parking lot asks me, be like, we did pretty good. Or it's like, yeah, we did all right.
Yeah.
You know, but if someone says that to me, be like, would you shoot mallards too? You know, like I will prod further. And then I will like let them know, like, I'm not gunning for your shit. You know, like I just genuinely want to know if you had a good day or not. And if you did do well, what did you do that I didn't do? You know, like, hey, were you using spinners? No, we weren't using spinners. That's what I was wondering about mine, because we were using spinners and they were kind of coming off like that. In a matter of 4 minutes, when you guys are talking about your different strategies and how they work and don't work, you're probably going to become friends. There's this like weird tenseness, like this feeling where it's like, fuck you. You know, like, don't ask me about anything. I'm just going to go and gloat to my friends of how well I did and whatever. And it's like, I get that. I really do get it. But at the same time, that does nothing for the community and the culture. Like, I want everybody to win. You know, how fun would it be to go to a public boat ramp like where we were down south this year and everyone just beat the shit out of them? You know, that boat ramp would have been lit.
Yeah.
That would have been so much fun. And I would have loved to have gone and talked to every single one. Instead, some people shot them. Some people did not. We heard a lot of shooting, you know, but people get in their boat and they are gone ASAP. Right. You know, like they pull their plug, whatever. What was really cool about the boat ramp tour is we actually got to like talk, and there was a reason for people to talk back to us because we're giving out free stuff.
Right.
You know? And so I would love for that kind of conversation without anything to gain from it.
Without the negative.
Yeah. Yeah. So because we were giving out free ammo and Wade gave away a Benelli, you know, and like he was giving away turtle boxes and whatever and stickers and Yeti cans, whatever. And so people were a lot more apt to be like, yeah, hey, thanks, man. Yeah, how'd you do? Yeah, we did really bad. Oh, really? Why do you think you did bad? You know, and then you're in a full-on conversation and you can actually probably learn something from them, or they might ask you for help and like, how were you successful versus what I did?
Yeah.
I think I love that part of duck hunting, and I love learning from other people, especially when I'm not a local to the spot like we were. Right. It's like the way that we hunted didn't seem that difficult. You know, I feel like I could really do that by myself.
Yeah.
However, if someone really beat the shit out of them, be like, yeah, man, I was the first one out of the gate. I knew exactly where to go. We didn't use spinners, whatever. You got to the hole, got out right away. It's like, okay, in order to be successful, you need to be like that.
Yeah.
You know, or some instance of that. And so, I don't know. And I think we could probably do a better job on our podcast too about being inclusive and spreading the joy and the knowledge and the stories and just like promoting that style of a community, you know, and pushing our friends that are influencers or however you want to call them, personalities, and just be like, dude, like explain to people like in detail what you're doing.
I think the hardest part about that is like, you know, there's so many pieces to this that I think come into play. To me, one of the like dreams that I have, like one of the dream scenarios that feels like a way to fix this is you know, Joey, you and I have talked about this a bunch of times where like we've lost that like sitting at the diner and like having a conversation with everybody after you're done with your hunt, which I think is a lot more popular in other types of hunting. And in waterfowl, it's not so much. And I think that, like you said, you're talking about being at a boat launch and people being like really apprehensive to tell you how they did for the day. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's like that. Like I'll never forget, I went fishing with my brother, who my brother is a really good fly fisherman. And we're walking down the river and there's these dudes on the bank and they had seen that we had been catching quite a few fish. So as we're walking by to go to the next hole down from them, they like call across the river to us. They're like, hey, looks like you guys are doing pretty good. And Isaac's like, oh, we're doing all right. And they're like, what are you catching them on? And Isaac goes, good drifts.
Yeah.
And like that is like quintessential what you're talking about, where it's like, I'm not telling you shit. Like we're out here vying for the same water, trying to shoot you're trying to hunt the same birds in this instance. You know, that's how people look at it. But I do think we've taken away mentorship a lot. And I think that a big reason that's happened is because it used to be that dads and grandfathers and uncles were a lot of the time the ones who were taking you out hunting. Mm-hmm. And now that we've lost so many hunters, even casual hunters, because if you're a casual duck hunter and you go 5 times a year, but you've been doing that for like 45 years, you've seen the swings. Like you've seen the cycle come and go. You've seen birds come and go. You know, you've seen stuff that's like profoundly unique where like the spinner comes out and everything just changes. Like you've had enough experience, even if you're a casual hunter, where you're only going out 5 or 10 times a year. But if you've been doing that for long enough, you know, you can really do some kind of mentorship to get somebody involved in it. And as much as when we first started Midwest Flyways, kind of the whole point was like, hey, we're going to make educational content out of the gate because people that don't have a dad or an uncle or brother, whoever that's teaching them how to do this, it'd be really hard for them to figure out like what they should even try to do, you know? And that was originally kind of coming from my perspective, where I'm like coming into this, I'm like learning kind of how to hunt from you. I don't really know anything about it. It's not something I grew up doing. I grew up fishing. And I think now, Joe, we're in a place where there are a lot of people that are learning online and they're learning from friends. And I think a major crucial piece to making people kind of, you know, now there's the negative side of it, but work together, you know, or feel like they even had an understanding going into it of some of the basics of how to do it and like the basic, because you know, hunting is like golf. Like there's etiquette and there's like things that you shouldn't do, but nobody tells you not to do them. Like when you go golfing for the first time, you absolutely walk in somebody's line. You have no idea. Yeah. And then the first time you do it, someone's like, dude, don't do that. Why would you walk in my line? And you're like, oh shit, I had no idea you shouldn't do that. You know, that's like sky busting a group at 60 yards when they're clearly going to a dude who's like 300 yards down from you on the same marsh, you know?
Well, you remember the story. Go ahead. Sorry.
That mentorship got lost in the era where we've lost so many of our casual or like 5 to 10 times a year hunters who've been doing that. Like my grandpa, you know, my grandpa used to hunt 5 times a year. He did that for like 20 plus years. But then as things have gotten more crabby and people have gotten way more like pissy at bow launches and like there's that culture to it, he just gave up on that. He's like, I've only been going out like a few times a year. I don't care about this. Mm-hmm. So we've lost that mentorship, which I think is a lot of where that like etiquette and the respect and the like camaraderie and like wanting other people to do well came from. But it's tough when you look at it from the history of what we know of bird population numbers. And like my grandpa, like when he was 18 and hunting, like they had so many more birds to choose from. Like it's way less competitive when everybody's going to go out and shoot a limit of cans.
It was still competitive back then. But
yeah, it was, but different.
It's like the story where I was on a lake and it was just me and one guy at the launch and it was like 20-mile-an-hour winds. And this is back when I had my Excel and he's launching a canoe and he's going to an area where you're technically not allowed to hunt on the lake. Like it says at the launch, like here are the areas that you can hunt because you're too close to homes otherwise. It's a public lake, but like if you're standing on shore, which on that lake you usually are, then you're within you're
within 500 feet.
You're within 500 feet.
Yeah.
And I was telling this guy, I was like, hey, you're not going to get back to the launch. You know, I was like trying to race him at the launch, like get my boat in first. And I just started talking to him. And he's like 42, you know, he's a super cool dude. He's like drove 45 minutes to get there and whatever. So I was like trying to convince this guy, I was like, just hop in my boat. You can't even hunt over there. Well, I've been hunting over there for like 9 years. I'm like, if you look at that sign right there and a DNR officer does show up, you're going to get in trouble. And plus the wind's going to be in your face. Like, don't hunt over there. Just hop in my boat and you're not going to die, you know? And then you can shoot your 6. I can shoot my 6. We'll be in and out, you know? So I finally convinced him. And as we get onto the open water, he's like, oh, thank God I did not take my canoe out there. I was like, that's what I'm saying. And I had a great time with the guy. We shot our ducks really quick. Like we were in and out within an hour and 20 minutes. And like fully packed up back at the truck in an hour and 20. And he invites me over to his house to eat duck gumbo with his family. It wasn't gumbo. It was the Asian style of that. I don't know what you call it. It was like a stir fry type of, it was like a stir fry type of deal, and it was all fresh vegetables from the farm. It was unbelievable. There's 30 people at his house. Everyone's trying to get me to like marry their daughter.
Sure.
Date their daughter, you know, and they're like, isn't she cute? Isn't she cute? I'm just like, man, I'm 21.
I'm just here for this.
I'm just chilling. I ended up being there for 7 hours.
Yeah.
And it was one of the funnest days that I can recall.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I made a new friend. I haven't talked to him since like a year after that, but still, like I had so much fun, learned a new way to cook duck, and I know I can sleep better at night knowing that guy didn't get like in trouble. Like you almost want to wait at the launch for that guy to make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
But you don't want to drive up to his spread because that day was scary. And so like I want more of that, you know, like that community where it's like, and I hope people don't think that I'm virtue signaling. Obviously I've been a prick, you know, but it's like, I want more of that culture. But I understand why it's not there at the same time, because there are some dickheads out there that make it that culture, you know, where it makes you want to say, get away from me. I don't care how many guys you got with you. I'm not hunting with you.
Yeah.
You know, you pissed me off at the boat ramp. You know how to back up your truck and you made everybody else late to get to their spot. You know, that type of a thing. So I get it, but I would just love to see the hunting culture change like that. And it starts with everyday bump-ins with people. Like you're at Shields with someone and you're like, you know, so wearing the same camouflage that you wear, and you just strike up a conversation. It's like, where do you normally hunt? You don't have to give me the exact lake, you know, like you still have to say that. It's like, oh, I hunt in the South Metro. I hunt in the North Metro. Really? Was it good this last year? It was okay. Were you guys mainly shooting like shit ducks, or are you shooting mallards, or like, what are you targeting? No, I target divers. Really? You're like, yeah, that's all we get there. And I love shooting bluebills and cans. The cans really came through this. I don't know. I love having those conversations with people. And if you're like, I have to hide everything, it's not going to come out. And I just feel like it makes the community a little bit more toxic, and especially in the Facebook comments, man. Sorry, I'm so plugged up.
Yeah.
In the comments, man, it's just so like, ugh.
Yeah, I think one thing I have like this dream in my head where there's like basically waterfowl VFWs like all over the country.
Yeah.
Where they specifically open at like Saturday at 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. And it's just made specifically to be like a 3 or 4 hour window where people can go there. You can get coffee or a beer. You can have breakfast or lunch, do whatever you want. But it's like basically just a waterfowler's VFW, or like even if it was just like a sportsman's style VFW, where like the purpose of it was to just bring sportsmen together who are there after a day of hunting or in between hunts, or, you know, coming to grab lunch out of the field, and just have a ton of people that are kind of like-minded or interested in the same sort of topic.
Yeah. Betsy's making pancakes left and right. They're way too big.
Yeah.
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 French toast is way too good.
Oh, yeah.
The burgers are good.
You're going to get diabetes.
Yeah. And there's like 3 beers you can choose from.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Yeah. And none of them are on tap. So yeah, I don't know, man. That to me would be, I think it's just more so it's like, we have different ways for people to get together. I think like the Ducks Unlimited banquets are great. Like the Delta groups are great. Like any involvement you can have in that type of stuff. If you're young and your college has a Ducks Unlimited chapter, that's probably a super good way to do it because you're meeting people when you're young and you can kind of grow in your, waterfowl journey with those people. But I do think just like strictly having like a waterfowler's cafe, or a sportsman's cafe that would just open in like every small town around the United States.
That'd
for
be
like
sick.
4
And
hours on Saturdays. And
the
Sundays.
morning after deer opener, that place is popping. After duck opener, that place is popping.
You go to places like that. You go to like little bars, when you're traveling or when you're out, whatever. Like there's always those little bars where people will meet up and like see each other, but it's not organized in a sense that people are there to like communicate with other groups of people and like have that camaraderie and just like talk about what's been working, what's not, how's your year been? It's been tough, like there's none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the hardest thing.
Yeah. But you can't force people to do it either.
Yeah. But this kind of leads me into the second thing that I had kind of put on here. And before we get into that topic though, I wanted to bring up one of our other sponsors of the podcast, which is Flashback Decoys. And if you guys haven't checked them out, Joey and I have been loving them for a few years now, and love the company that makes them, love the people that make them. They make an incredible product. So go to Duck Creek Decoy Works and check these out. They're incredible. Flashback 2 available now, and they have pintails on the website, I think.
Yep.
So go check them out. But the second question that I had on here, has access changed the soul of duck hunting? Which I think kind of feeds into this a little bit. And the reason I bring this up is, duck hunting now, there are enough people that love it with enough money that they're buying land, a lot of land, and they are kind of a little bit changing the culture. Like private equity is definitely changing the culture of just about everything in the United States right now. But it's certainly changing the culture of duck hunting. If you look back, like, yes, people owned land. People have managed land for waterfowl and animals and all that for a long, long time. But now we're getting to a point with technology and with money, with private equity money, that it is definitely changing. In my opinion, it's sort of changing the soul of some of the duck hunting stuff. And I think that's a really hard topic to like navigate.
How would you say that people buying large tracts of land and planting and, like a White Oaks and like a Habitat Flats, how do you feel like that's changing the soul of duck hunting?
Well, because it's more greed driven. You know what I mean? Like
I don't.
Well, it's more greed driven. It literally is more greed driven. The goal of buying like big sections of land like that and managing it is so that you can hold birds, manage your own property to have birds on it consistently. And that obviously feeds into people wanting to go to that place because they're guaranteed a really good opportunity of having like some of the best duck hunts of their life. And that's in a lot of places, like you can't guarantee that to be replicable, wherever you're at, if it's on like public. And I'm not like one of these like, oh, private, you shouldn't be managing private land. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just asking the question, like, has that contributed to the change of like the soul of duck hunting? Like, because we and you have talked about just for the last like 10, 15 minutes, that competitiveness at the boat launch. I know that it's obviously been there, Joe, but like talking to my grandpa, talking to people that have been doing this for a long time, like it certainly has changed. It's gotten more intense. The competition is far more intense now.
And you think that's because of these large tracts of land?
Well, I don't think that it's because of the large tracts of land. I think that the money that's being pumped into like hunting, even just as a whole, like you could apply this to probably all types of hunting. But, there hasn't always been groups that are like this many groups of private equity money or just like really wealthy people that have been specifically like buying up land for hunting, because in the past we've had good enough resources that people are having their opportunity to have their part of the season where things are really good. So like if you like think back and you look and you talk to people that have been hunting for a long time, like grandfathers, they'll tell you like, yeah, if we had a 2-month long season, a month of it was really good. Where like you could go out and you're going to shoot birds every day during that second month or whatever, Now you get to a place where, it's a toss up, man. Like if you're going out, like you don't know if you're going to do that well or not. Like you have indicators like weather and patterns and time of year and all that stuff where you can say like, hey, the duck hunting should be pretty decent this time of year. Hey, we might have had over that month stretch, if you hunted 30 days in a row, if you talk to somebody, like I feel like a really good day would be hearing somebody be like, oh yeah, the last month we've had 15 really good days of hunting. If you hunted 30 days in a row, I would say you're having a damn good month. If 50% of the time you're going out and being super successful hunting. Whereas, that's obviously changed. And I just think, the greed of it all, like you talked about in the beginning, you kind of brought up the like, hey, people are posting the pictures of, the piles and like, it's all like competition. Now there's like definitely that competition factor of like, hey, if I really wanted to do this for the rest of my life, I probably got to buy some land or, I got to really try to find a way to put myself in a position where I have that access.
I think it's an age thing.
Sure.
Personally. So like my dad and his friends, they went out and they shot on public all the time. And then as they got older, closer to their 30s, in their 30s for sure, they're like, let's start an outfitter. Let's
manage land.
Nice crew shop. Let's manage some land so that we can have like guaranteed clients shooting birds. Like we have a better opportunity for these people shooting birds. And as a kid, I thought that was the coolest thing.
Oh, it is the coolest thing.
I got to be a part of it and whatever. And then I got my own boat. My dad stopped hunting and I discovered public land. And I was like, wow, this is so sick. So from like 17 to 30, right? Let's just say 17 to 30. I was hitting public way harder than I was hitting private. And now as I get older, it's like that public land is a lot of work. And I got kids and I got bills to pay. I don't have time to go out and scout 5 times a week anymore, which is what a lot of times you need to do on public. And especially in drought years, like we have been in the last 4 or 5 years, you have to scout a lot harder to become more successful, which hats off to the people that are just cranking them on public land or even on private land the last 3-4 years.
Scouting 5 hours a day.
Scouting like madmen, know. Hats off to you. I do not have that time. So as you get older, if you are going to take the time to go and do that, you want a better chance and opportunity. Also, as you get into your 30s and 40s, you end up having a lot more money. And so you have the equity to put into some land and stuff like that. So I don't necessarily think that it's changing the soul of duck hunting.
Yeah.
I think it's just an age thing. If you look at the people on public in like Arkansas, 18 to 35, I think is like the main group of people.
No, there's a lot. I mean,
and then after that, it trickles down pretty quickly. And like
I don't know,
35 to 48, there's way less people going out in that group. So as you get older, 1, you probably lose some interest. You have more stuff going on in your life. And then 3, you're like, if I'm going to go out, man, I want to make sure I get them because I don't have all this time before and after a hunt to make sure that we get them the next time I go out hunting because it's probably going to be a week from now instead of the next 3 days in a row. So
yeah, but I think that explanation you just gave, as much as like I totally agree with that, and like don't get me wrong, I'm scheming ways to buy duck hunting property.
Yeah,
like I'm not saying I'm not doing that, but what you literally just explained basically is kind of what I was sort of saying, where it's
I wouldn't call it greed by any means. If you're getting 5,000 acres of land, I wouldn't consider that greed either. I don't think you go into it in the intention of saying I'm stopping the migration.
No, yeah, no one's doing that.
That's
first
greed.
of all, and nobody's saying that. I just think it's not so much what the intent of it is, it's what the view of it is from people who can't access that same opportunity. Do you get what I'm saying?
And then my answer is to that? welcome to America.
Yeah, no, I get that.
You work your ass off in order to buy that, and then you farm it for that, and then it works out for you. Congrats.
Yeah.
You know, am I a little jealous that I do not have that same opportunity? For sure. Now, does that make me work harder? Yes, it does. Does it make me sit down and go, that's not fair? No, not whatsoever.
Yeah, but a lot of people do that.
And a lot of people do that in other areas of life too. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I'm pumped for that person. Capitalism is sick in that regard, where if you work your ass off and you make money, you can do shit with that money. That's cool, dude. You know? So, like, yeah, it sucked when I was 18. It's like, there's no public land where all these birds are. I have to go out and knock and get permission. You know, if I want to hunt this private land, or, you know what I mean? It's just like, how bad do you want it? Are you going to try to get it? Sweet. You know?
Yeah. No, it's just an open question.
So I don't think it's really changing the soul of duck hunting, but we're also not in an area of the country where people are doing that either. You know, people aren't buying 5,000 acres at a time and flooding it for like corn or flooded timber. Like, nobody's doing that in Minnesota because we're kind of a flyover state now.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that's up for debate, but I mean, when it comes to like greed versus and like changing the soul of it, I don't think so.
Sure.
Personally, I think it's an age thing.
Yeah. I get that. I really do. And again, like I said, I'm scheming ways to buy my own property. So it's just, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I just think I'm more coming at it from the angle of like, what are the optics of it from people that aren't in that situation or like don't have that opportunity. And I'm thinking also of the fact, Joe, that like, you know, how much you and I would hunt, that's like an exception. You know, like most people that buy a license don't hunt that much. If I'm somebody who's like a casual duck hunter and it's becoming increasingly hard to be successful, and the optics of what I'm seeing, because you got to remember too, like, you know, there was always public duck or private duck clubs.
Yeah.
But there wasn't always social media to show off how successful those private duck clubs were. So a lot of it is like legend and lore, you know, like you're hearing stories from someone whose brother went one time. Now, you know, these private duck clubs, like they're advertising essentially how good their duck club is because there's the benefit. Like we were, you know, you and I have talked to people who own pieces of private duck clubs where they're like, yeah, the social media side has really changed everything because now the memberships are worth more money, you know? And so to me, it's like, I'm not saying that that's greed. Like, obviously that's capitalism and like, that's how it works. But from somebody's perspective who you got to keep in mind that like age stretch where you're like 18 to 30, if you're not really that educated about how that all works and you're just like seeing on social media, you're out there busting your ass and these guys are just like showing up and having the best day of their lives 15 days in a row. You're like, yeah, what am I doing out here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that I'm not saying it's wrong to do that. It's just two things can be true at once, you know? It can be okay that you're doing it. It can also mean that the optics and the perspective of a lot of people about it are negative enough that it's like changing the way people feel about it.
Here's a really good question for you.
Sure.
Say you buy this unbelievable piece of property. You get super lucky and you're able to buy 300 acres, Cal. And you hunt it for the rest of your life. It's so good, you never want to leave there. And it comes towards the end of your life, right? Like you own it solely, like you and your family. It comes to the end of your life, and you have two options. You can either give that place up and make it public so that everyone else can enjoy it, or you pass it down to your kids and their family. What do you think you would do?
I'm going to pass it down to my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or sell it, I guess. You could sell
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm going to pass it down to my kids if they want it, you know? But I will tell you this. If they don't want it, if they have no interest in it, and they don't need it for anything.
It's probably worth a lot of money, too, if you were to sell it.
All right, well, now you're just creating a major hypothetical.
It's 300 acres, you know? I mean, I've heard of that happening several times throughout history where it's got turned into a refuge because they donated it to the state or they turned it into public land or the DNR thought it should be turned into a sanctuary versus public hunting or whatever,
If I don't need the money and I don't feel like it's like a major benefit to my children to just give it to them and let them sell it or something, I would consider leaving it for people to hunt it.
It'd be cool, but it would be a cool legacy deal, but
Yeah.
you're like you're dead. So
Right.
doesn't really matter,
right.
right? It's not going to make you feel any better in the grave. It's probably
but
it's
it
cool
might
for
make
the
a lot of
community.
16-year-old kids who's like looking for a chance to hunt feel pretty good showing up there.
Right.
Because
I've hunted some property where they're pretty old. They're like 70, 80. Even that place where we were out in October.
Yeah.
I was talking to this guy, bunch of birds on the water, bunch of birds in the field that got turned into walk-in
Yeah.
or public. And I stopped to talk to him in his tractor. He wouldn't let me go. He's telling me about the old days. He goes, yeah, my dad and I, we'd sit on the shores here and we'd shoot way too many ducks. It was a great time. Like we always shot our limit.
Yeah.
Always. It's not like that anymore. I'm trying to get my son to take my grandson out, but my son doesn't like to hunt. And so I try to take my grandson out, but I'm too old. And so, usually when people like you come around, you're a good guy. I just tell you to go for it. I would love to watch you shoot birds on my property.
Sure. Yeah.
Probably ran into like 10 of those.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so cool. I kind of get goosebumps talking about it. It's like, I would love to be able to do something like that. I don't know if I'd like give it up for like everybody.
Sure. I think what I would do if I was going to leave it like for people to hunt on is I would set it up so it would be a lottery system.
Sure.
So like you would go into a draw and there would be X amount of people that would be allowed to go and hunt it. So I would just have it regulated. Like I would leave it regulated. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Carter, can we play Say What?
For sure.
Let's
Gavin,
play Say What.
Get in here. Get in here, Gavin.
Say What is brought to you by Sound Gear, which Joey got the code right for earlier, which is Flyways for 25% off customs or the instant fits.
The customs
shields
are called Phantoms, by the way. The Phantoms. Guys, I don't know if you know this. Gavin here actually looks phenomenal today, and that's a very rare occasion. And one of the only reasons why he looks phenomenal is because he's wearing the merch from MidwestFlyways.com/shop.
This motherfucker.
So you look at Gavin right now on the camera, and you go, wow, he looks really good in black, especially with some embroidered canvas backs. Right on his chest, baby.
Right.
You want them coming in close? They're going to touch your chest if you're wearing these, baby.
Whoa.
It makes a great gym shirt.
And I will say, currently that's not on the website, but
Good.
keep an eye out. You may have a chance to purchase that design here in the very near future.
Yes.
Keep
So
your
I have
ears open.
do I have a limited edition thing right now?
You
Yeah.
do.
$300 online, everybody. DM me, I'll sell it.
Oh, he thinks
Damn.
I'll sign it
he
too.
thinks it's the JJ Lairs calling
Yeah.
call post.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice.
Hey man, poor.
Call
I need
nuts.
some money.
Call
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
Sweatshirt nuts.
All right, Carter,
Sweatshirt
bring us
nuts.
into it.
You guys ready?
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
roll.
Oh, yeah.
I got this. I'm gonna win this week.
Ooh, no, you're not.
Hey,
Hey.
I like the confidence.
Hey.
I like
Let's
it.
go. First one here. We'll start off easy.
All right.
A Canada goose has 20,000 to 25,000 feathers.
Nice and easy. Nice little softball layup. I'm gonna go ahead.
I'm going to go
True.
and say true.
I'm gonna say false.
That one is true.
Wow, that's a lot of feathers.
It's a lot.
The head makes sense.
That's
All
a
those
lot
little
of
feathers in the
those little
head.
ones, yeah. But I mean, even if you like pluck the breast and everything, that's a lot.
You're
of
the only
feathers.
one in this room that does that, but yeah. Sorry. Catching strays.
I don't care.
That's good.
That ain't a diss on me.
That's true.
I go above and beyond, baby.
kind of true, actually, though. Sort of
Going
got
above
you.
and beyond?
Well, he just got you on the back end of that, yeah,
He did. It's fine.
a little bit. All right,
Next one here.
next one.
We got a little story.
It's
Ooh.
not. It's
Fuck,
not as
this
good if
shit
you have to
again?
explain it. You know.
But you always have to.
Thomas, the domestic goose in New Zealand,
Yes.
was a male goose who had an 18-year relationship with a male black feathered swan.
Wow. Thomas the goose.
This is
Correct.
very specific.
Can you say it again?
Yep. Thomas, the domestic goose in New Zealand, was a male goose who had a 18-year relationship with a male black feathered swan.
Was it a sexual relationship?
I didn't do that much research.
Hybrids.
You're just
What's
saying-
a duck?
Did you say male goose?
Male-
Male goose
they're both
and male
male.
swan?
Male and male, yep.
Yeah. I'm going to go with true.
So this could just be like friends.
Yeah.
Just homies.
I'm gonna say true.
I'm going to say false.
True, false. That is true. He was
Let's
memorialized with a plaque as an LGBTQ icon after his death.
Shut up.
That's not real.
Yep. And then he went on to have another relationship with another male bird, I believe.
But you're saying a relationship, but Joey asked about sexual intimacy, and you said
They are
no.
that one headline says he's bisexual. So I don't know.
They just turned this guy who's got friends into like a gay goose.
I guess.
This is such a 2026.
Totally.
This is the world
Oh
we
no,
live
this
in.
this is
Totally.
old. This is old
Gen
school.
1.
Wow.
Gen 1 goose right there.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I went. He hatched in 1980, and his relationship was estimated from 18 to 24. So I went on the lower end, but his story is very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't an 18-year relationship.
Yes,
It
was.
might have been up to a 24-year relationship.
Oh, I
Yep.
thought you said from years 18 to 24.
No.
No. They said that the relationship lasted between 18 and 24 years.
Damn.
Yep.
Loyal.
Very. Except when, then when it died, he just like immediately moved on.
Yep.
It's not that cool.
And
I've
then
had that
he got
conversation
attacked
with
and
my
went blind.
You said you had that with your wife.
I've had that conversation with my wife.
if someone dies.
Hey, if I die, I don't know if I'm going to be able to raise 3 kids by myself. I might
Right.
need to remarry. I was like, can you at least wait a while? Can
Yeah.
you wait a while?
For sure.
Did you see what I tagged you in the group today?
No.
Oh.
On
I
Did you
Instagram?
see it?
No.
You didn't look either?
No.
On Instagram?
Yeah, I'll let you both go look. Because the other two applauded me for the joke.
Okay.
Next one here.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
It's at your expense. I'm
I'm
sorry.
sure.
Oh, okay. Well,
His or mine?
That's why
His.
you got the applause.
His absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. In the avian family, which includes ducks, geese, and swan, there are 174 different species.
True.
Ducks, goose, and swan.
Correct.
Does that seem high?
Wow,
In
that
the
seems like a
world?
lot.
In the world, Carter?
Correct.
The whole world.
Correct.
I'm going to say true.
I'm going to go true.
I'm gonna go true.
That is true.
Yeah. I remembered the Asian ducks. There's over 30 domesticated
That's
Asian
right.
ducks.
A lot of them.
That's
And
right.
that's just Asia.
Right.
So,
I didn't think it domesticated ducks even, to be honest.
Well, that's why I clarified all in the world.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's a lot.
There's a lot.
Because
It
there's
is a lot.
There's bib ducks. There's farm ducks. There's
Oh, yeah.
There's so many.
Runner ducks.
Yeah,
Asia-
runners, African runner ducks.
Asia
Well-
surprisingly has so many ducks.
Isn't that what they're called?
I don't know about African running ducks. We just always call them runner ducks.
The Foys had.
Really?
They call them African runner ducks.
Oh, you're thinking of Roadrunner.
No,
They
I'm pretty
are
sure they're a domesticated duck from Africa.
Indian runner
Indian
ducks.
runner ducks.
Indian runner ducks.
I say we've always bought them for dog training. Does that make sense?
That's cool. They're heavier.
What?
They're bigger ducks.
Yeah. Well, then you don't have to clip wings. Just let them run
'Cause
around
they
and you let
can't.
puppies chase them down.
Yeah.
Can't fly.
Yeah, there's no,
Oh,
they don't
yeah.
go anywhere.
Kind of messed up if you think about
That's
it.
that's why I just scoffed at it.
I've done way worse shit.
Allegedly, you mean.
No, there's no allegedly. I'll tell them.
All right.
Don't give a
All right.
fuck.
Next question,
Next
Carter.
one. During World War II, waterfowl hunting in the USA was completely banned.
That's true.
Completely banned all of World War II?
Completely banned.
False. Actually,
False.
yeah, false.
That is false.
You said true?
Mm-hmm.
I thought for a half second maybe because of like
It's
making
never been-
ammunition.
It's never been banned.
That is not totally true.
It was banned during the
At
hunt gun
least.
era for a few years.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why I tripped up on that, because when I did the story about punt guns, I read about that after a certain period, they actually completely banned it for a few years.
Yeah.
I just can't remember what it was.
I knew it was at some point shut down.
I didn't know that.
Certain
Mhm.
states have been shut down too.
True. That's
Like,
what I
multiple-
was
certain
told.
states,
multiple
Yeah.
times.
But
yeah.
complete bans, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Okay.
I just forgot the time period.
You were thinking World War One.
Next one here.
But, you know, sometimes Carter doesn't actually, he's like, he fucks up the question too. So I was like, oh,
Yeah, it's always my fault.
Don't come at Carter, but
It's okay.
because you don't know
dude.
your
Now you're going to be
dates.
Crabby Joey pretty soon. Take it
I'm
easy.
defending his honor.
Dude.
I'm
Sorry,
defending his
you're honestly-
crabbiness. His crabbiness is honor.
Right now, the more you talk, the crabbier you sound.
True.
Am I getting gaslighted right now? Like,
Yes.
Never. Okay, next one here. In Britain, the common merganser is called the goosander.
Shut up.
Okay.
You know what? That
Can you
one's
repeat that?
Yeah, in Britain, the common merganser is called the goosander. Spelt Goosander.
False.
True.
you know, I know it has a tricky name, and I'm just gonna have to go true.
It is true.
Let's go.
Joey, you've got everyone
needed-
right.
I needed that question.
Yeah, you did.
Bad. Bad. I
All right,
really went
Carter.
out on a limb today, as some might say.
Yeah,
With some of
and
my
that
answers.
limb was in one of those really tall trees that those dudes are climbing, where the forest floor is like, or the treetops are like way below, and they're just going up there to like kill bees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're really out on a limb.
Yeah. Yep. Or like those guys that have the smoking.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they just go up there
Smoking
with like,
leaves.
it's just smoking leaves.
Let's
Yeah.
fucking
Yes.
go.
They have GoPros on their head.
Yeah. And then the bees are still stinging them.
You seen those, Gavin?
What?
Have you seen those videos
No idea what you're talking
of
about.
those guys walking around with smoking plants in their hand, and they're like walking on tree branches that are this thick, and they're,
No.
I swear to God, they're 600 feet up
I
above the
don't
canopy.
know
Looks
what
like it.
I don't know what rabbit holes you go down at night watching videos, but that's not the rabbit hole I go down.
Oh, that video's hit my feed like a lot of times.
Oh, I watch silent woodworking usually.
I-
Building a table.
A
He's
lot.
actually
I
Ron
went
Swanson.
I went down an hour and a half video the other day of like a guy silently woodworking while building a
I-
very nice desk and
Any-
matching chairs. And I literally looked at the
Cool.
clock and I was like, it's fucking damn near midnight. I was like, God damn it.
Every time that I end up like working late on the computer, I need like a half hour after that to just like cool down. I always watch woodworking videos.
Makes
On-
my
on
heart makes
YouTube.
my heart happy.
Just hit YouTube.
Han, what's his first name? Tom Hahn? The
No,
legendary-
Larry Hahn.
Larry Hahn, the
Larry
legendary carpenter.
Yeah, you ever watch his videos?
Oh,
No,
that
puts-
guy's the shit.
legit puts me right to sleep. And
Here's
he gets
how-
so annoyed.
here's how you set a joist hanger.
I think he just like the
Yeah.
funny thing is though some of the like logical things he does, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I've never thought of that, but
No,
that makes
it's so good.
sense.
It's so good.
Yeah,
All right.
I've learned so much from Larry Hahn.
top tier.
Next one.
Yep.
Okay, we got a bit of a story here again.
Fucking
all right,
Christ.
all right.
In-
All right, take it easy there.
My streak is over here, by the way. Guaranteed.
In
Guaranteed.
1962, during peak Cold War, a wildlife photographer took a photo of a pigeon flying with a letter attached to its leg. The photographer reported it to the police and it was captured. The letter contained a secret message from Russian Cold War spies.
Wow. If there was ever a story that should be false,
You think so?
I mean,
going
it
true.
could be true.
I'm going true.
I'm tossed
True.
up on it. False.
False. I made that one
Let's
up.
go. Let's go. Huge.
Now,
Huge.
he did give a specific year, but I can almost guarantee you that's a real story.
No, that they
Now-
took a picture, reported it to the
and
police.
then it had a message on it that was like involving Russian spies.
I felt like that was fake enough to make up.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
I know there's been a lot of pigeons caught in war times carrying sensitive material.
I think the part
Really?
the part that should have in World War I he's correct, but other than that he's that's about the only one. The part that should have tripped us both up is a picture taken of a flying bird in the 60s is probably pretty shitty.
That's, yeah.
So no, I would agree. I think Cardell
Told
was
you my
really
streak
well
was
done.
over,
Thank
boys.
you.
Yeah.
Told you my streak
You
was
could take a
over.
nice picture in 1960.
In 1960 of a
Yes.
flying bird.
Yep,
You think so?
absolutely.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not enough to see the little letter taped to a leg.
No, they captured the bird. That's how they read the letter.
Yes, but he said the photo of the bird was taken and they noticed the letter and then called the police. You are not taking a
Yeah,
high resolution
yeah.
photo in 1962 to capture the letter
Carter,
taped to
I
the
think
leg.
you could, right?
No shot.
I mean, it would just be on a film camera. I mean, you kind of could.
Yeah.
I don't even think you could really
Three-
take decent flying
I didn't even
photos back
think.
then.
I didn't even think the fact of film. Because he's like going to the bathtub.
He said true.
Going to the bathtub.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It was dumb
Now
of me to
you're
say
like-
true. I was reading hockey scores and I was like,
Defending
yes.
why it didn't make sense.
Yeah,
but he
no,
said
he
true.
was right. I was fucked up. Yeah.
Was that the
Oh
last
my
one?
gosh.
One more little fact here. Ducks average 10 flaps per second while in flight.
That's
False.
False.
False from everybody?
Yeah.
That is true.
What?
10 flaps per second.
Correct.
1,000. 10 flaps.
Yep.
I don't.
From Ducks Unlimited.
What?
Bro. There is
Which
no
duck?
Mallards.
there
no
is
chance.
no shot.
I-
10 Carter, think about this.
I understand. I took
10
it from Ducks Unlimited
flaps per
website.
second.
Can we all agree to look this up? Because I don't buy this.
Absolutely, we're looking this
Yeah,
up.
can we all
Yes.
vote?
It's
Yes,
right.
I'm voting.
I have it right here.
Pull this shit up.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to use your original source.
Why can't I use Ducks Unlimited?
Carter, do you understand that the whole purpose of us voting to look it up was that your original source is now being questioned? I'm not saying Ducks Unlimited is just like flat out wrong, but like I can literally watch a mallard's wings going up and down. It's not like it's like
Here-
I'm looking at a blur.
Here's another one on 50 ducks. Let me find it here.
They average 10 flaps per second. What's a flap? Up is 1, down is 2.
I don't know. I don't know.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in 1 second.
I looked it up on chat. It depends on the species and whether the duck is taking off, cruising, or landing, but here are realistic ranges. In steady flight, 5 to 10 wing beats per second. During takeoff, high effort, 8 to 12. Large ducks, mallards, and pintails, 5 to 8 beats per second.
Right there is another
Damn.
source.
Small
So-
fast ducks like teal,
I think-
8 to 12.
I think we got to null this one and go to another question because I found another source that Joey doesn't have that also says that mallards average 3 to 7 beats a second in a consistent flight.
So let me get this right. Your one source is better than my two.
That's 2 sources.
it's 2.
It's 2 to 2 now.
But Joey, yours was 8 to 12.
All right. Should we vote to go to a new question?
Yep, new question.
Who votes new question? Okay.
Frauds. Absolute frauds.
Throw it out.
It's not possible per second. It's not possible.
Well, it is possible because we obviously seen that sometimes they do it.
I could see it
It's
in
just
like
that the
consistent long
average-
flights maybe.
No way,
The
bro. They would have to
tailwind?
consider. I'm thinking more like
A wing beat?
trying to get somewhere quick that's not very far away.
No, I
You
think
might
when they're
cruise.
flying like consistently with the wind at their back, I think they get that
Carter,
cruising
Carter,
speed.
hey Carter.
No,
Hey,
just
Carter.
think how fast they flap when you pull up and they're backpedaling, like back winging out. That's a lot of flaps
Yeah,
per
but you
second.
said on average.
Okay, so that's not
I don't
included
even think
in the average?
I don't even think they do 10 beats a second coming out of the hole.
I don't know.
I don't think
Whatever.
you
We
should.
nixed it. It's
I don't
okay.
think so.
Next.
All right, next question.
Next.
During molt, ducks are flightless for 30 to 45 days.
True.
That is true.
True.
That is true. There's your baby question, guys.
Thank you.
Not the 25,000 feathers that we started with.
That was also a baby question. You're correct.
So
We ended.
start with an easy one, he says.
Yikes, Gavin, you would bad. Joey 6 of 7. Cal 5.
6, 7.
I looked at the number. Cal was 5 of 7. Gavin was 4 of 7.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, that's not that
Below
bad.
50% is pretty bad.
Okay. Sure.
So if you would have gotten 3, we would have all been making fun of you.
I'm
I'm
Sounds good.
you slid up to 5 out of nowhere.
Yeah, I just started off bad.
Wild.
All right, what are the scores, Carter?
On the season,
Yeah.
Joey is 36 of 59. Cal is 34 of 59. Close.
Damn, what's Gavin?
He doesn't get counted.
I'm not in the team.
His gets
I'm not-
wiped
I'm
every
not a
time.
team. Not on the team.
I really wish you had been counting.
It would have been bad.
I've only had one bad week out of the 3.
No, you just don't play consistent enough.
No, I know, but like
No,
the one
last
week,
week
the
you
one.
were 4 for 7 too.
No, I
3.
was just say I
3
was
for
3 for
7.
7, but the 2 weeks before that I was like 6 for 7.
So you've
I
had
was.
one good week.
I've only played 3 times.
Okay. You said
Fuck
had
you
one
want me to
bad
do?
week.
Hey, I want you to calm
I want
down.
you, yeah.
I mean, don't be coming at me.
That's what I would like you to do is calm down.
Whoa, dude. I'm not coming at you. I'm just talking about
I feel
facts.
attacked.
Getting less good looking as this goes on.
Factual statistics here.
You never
All right.
started being good looking.
I never said I was.
Thank you
We know.
guys so much
Your
for listening.
Saratoga
Carter, do you?
ass.
Yeah, thank you. Sounds good. Great ending song. Perfect way to demonetize ourselves on YouTube. Love it. Hope you guys love it. We do it for the people.
You might have a better place to watch those soon.
Might.
You will.
Yeah?
You will, for sure.
You will.
Be on the lookout.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll catch you guys on the next one. And Gavin, one more thing.